where will DeAndre Hopkins go next? A lot of fans are excited about the possibility of landing DeAndre Hopkins. This feels like one of the moves that could really kind of change the tide with the contenders in the AFC and potentially NFC. And so I do want to show you guys right now, according to Deadspin, here are the odds for DeAndre Hopkins, his next team. So the Bills and Chiefs are the favorites right now. And that's kind of been the big thing. The Chiefs at, the Bills at plus 200, the Chiefs at plus 400. So that's been the big thing right now. The Chiefs and the Bills are the favorites to land DeAndre Hopkins. Here's the problem with that, though. Both teams are dead last in cap. I don't remember which one is which, but one is 32 and one's 31 in cap space. And when you saw with the Bills have already lost a lot of guys, especially on defense already. So it would be tough. I feel like it would be tough for them to then switch and get DeAndre Hopkins. Also, did you see how Stephon Diggs, how he treated Josh Allen and how mad he was at Josh Allen last year? And then we saw what happened with him in Minnesota before he even got to Buffalo. So would you really want to bring, because I think DeAndre Hopkins, he can be a one on a team still. I think he's more of a strong two for a contending team. So would you really want to bring him in with Diggs, and then what happens if one of them doesn't get their touches? I mean, all receivers are divas to some extent, but Stephon Diggs has had a history of really kind of crying, so I don't know if the Bills really need that right now, especially when they want to take the next step and over the Chiefs and the Bengals. For the Chiefs, I think DeAndre Hopkins will work out great for them. I think that would be a great fit, but again, it's just going to come down to money, and they just won a Super Bowl without him. They did lose Juju, it's not like Juju really matters all that much, but they did lose Juju, and maybe they look to use DeAndre Hopkins to replace that and make them even better. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes can get by without him, so I don't know if they're going to go out of their way with already the bad cap situation that they're in to go out and get a DeAndre Hopkins. So I think it will work with the Chiefs and not the Bills, but I don't think that's very likely. But kind of moving on down the list here, then you have Dallas at plus 500, but DeAndre Hopkins doesn't want to play with Dak. When he listed his quarterbacks, Dak Prescott was not one of them, and he's not going to play with Dak. The Patriots are next at plus 700, but I think they're starting to become a stigma with playing with New England. We saw this with Lamar, too, and Asante Samuel came out and said, no, you don't want to play for Belichick. So there might kind of be a stigma about playing with the Patriots. It's not the same as when Tom Brady was there. Then the Ravens are plus 800. That could happen, because they just picked up Odell. Obviously, Bateman's still there. They just drafted Zay Flowers as well. So they have a talented receiving core. I don't know if Odell's going to be the Odell we remember coming back. So maybe, why not? You haven't put a lot of receiver talent with Lamar so far. So why not get Hopkins, get as many as you can? So maybe the Ravens do that. I can see that as a possibility. I think that's more likely to me than the Chiefs and the Bills, to be honest with you. But, yeah, the NFL's crazy, so moving down the list, the Panthers who just drafted Bryce Young. I don't think they're there yet, though. They could get DeAndre Hopkins that could help Bryce Young's development. They probably would win their division for sure, but they're not quite at the contending level yet. I'm sorry, they're at the playoff level, but maybe not at the contending level yet. So it might be a little bit too early to do that and get Hopkins in that way, but I don't know. Maybe you prioritize, we need Bryce Young developing to get weapons around him now, because we've seen younger quarterbacks struggle early, get some talent, and then all of a sudden explode and blow up. I didn't think about the Giants at plus 900, but that's also possible. They just picked up Waller, and even though they made the playoffs, they did have some trouble at the receiver position at times, so it's definitely a need for them. He would become their number one receiver, and you put him with Slayton. And they probably want to, if you're going to invest in Daniel Jones, probably want to put some weapons around him. So the Giants would make sense. And then also tied at plus 900 are the Eagles. So here's my thing, because I'm going to speak from an Eagles fan perspective here. Yes, the idea of DeAndre Hopkins sounds good. A.J. Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Smith. I would love to see Devontae Smith in the slot. And also, I don't think a lot of Eagle fans are trusting Quez Watkins at the third receiver spot right now, even though he's supposedly working out, getting stronger, all that other stuff. At the same time, though, I think it's going to come down. It's kind of like with the Bills with Stephon Diggs. The receivers weren't always happy last year. And then also you have Dallas Goedert at tight end. So as good of a season we had last year, I don't think the receivers were happy all the time. So then it's going to come down to what happens, because somebody won't get their touches. if DeAndre Hopkins comes in. That was even Devontae Smith earlier. I think it was earlier this week or maybe last week. He was trying to make the argument that he was top 10. So I don't know. It might just be too many alphas in one room. So I've gone back and forth on it, to be honest. I'm more kind of against it. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, I guess. And then I really think there's probably 3 more teams that have a realistic chance. I didn't think about Detroit until I saw a clip from Shannon Sharp talking about possibly him going to Detroit, and it would make sense because Jameson Williams is suspended. So you put him with St. Brown. They might would have a little bit of trouble once Jameson Williams comes back. But I mean, I could see it. And the Lions, they built a pretty good roster this offseason, made some questionable draft picks, but I think even with that, they built a pretty good roster, and a roster that probably should compete for the division this year, if not more. So add DeAndre Hopkins to that, and maybe the Lions establish themselves as true contenders in the NFC. So I could see that. I think the Jets have done a little too much at plus 1,400, so it makes sense those odds are kind of getting out there. They've done a whole bunch already, so adding DeAndre Hopkins to Garrett Wilson, Lazard, and all of these done already, that would be a lot. So I don't think that's very likely. And then you have the Cleveland Browns, him coming back with Deshaun Watson. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of question marks around Deshaun Watson, which is maybe why the Browns should do it. But with all the money they gave him, I guess money-wise, it would be obviously it's doable because they're not down their salary cap with the Bills and the Chiefs. But I don't know if they'll be able to give DeAndre Hopkins a long-term deal. I don't know if he's going to get a long-term deal from any team. But yeah, you pair him with Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper's on the other side. They still have Peoples-Jones. That would be a pretty good receiving core. But yeah, like I said, DeAndre Hopkins is rumored to go to half the league at this point. If I was guessing, if I'm going to make a guess right now, I think he's going to end up in Baltimore. That would be my guess. That would be my guess right now, because I don't think the Bills and the Chiefs are going to be able to get around their salary cap issues to do it. So I would guess Ravens. Who knows? The news changes every day. These odds are probably going to change by the time things actually happen. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Where do you think DeAndre Hopkins will play next year?